sorry that I haven't made a video this week, and this one's going to be a little rushed since it's been extremely busy this week with the first week of school starting up and getting used to my day now being on Monday. So our theme this week is traditional stories, so I'm just going to read you out a traditional story and tell you what I think of it. Okay, here it goes. The story is called The Two Frogs. Once upon a time, in the great country of Japan, there lived two frogs, one of whom made his home in a ditch near the town of Osaka, on the seacoast, while the other dwelt in a clear stream which ran through the city of Kyoto. At such a great distance apart, they had never heard of each other, but, funny enough, the idea came into both their heads at once that they'd like to see a little of the world, and the frog who lived in Kyoto wanted to visit Osaka, and the frog who lived in Osaka wished to see Kyoto, and where the great Mikado had his palace. So one fine morning in the spring, they both set out along the road that led from Kyoto to Osaka, from one end to the other. The great journey was made more tiring than they expected, for they did not know much about traveling, and halfway between the two towns there arose a mountain which had to be climbed. It took a long time and many hops to reach the top. But there they were at last, and what a surprise to each of them to see another frog before him. They looked for a moment without speaking, then fell into conversation, explaining the cause of their meeting so far from their homes. It was delightful to find that they both felt the same wish, to learn a little more about their native country, and as there was no sort of hurry, they stretched themselves out in a cool, damp place, and agreed they would have good rest before they parted ways. "What a pity we are not bigger," said the Osaka frog, "for then we could see both towns from here, and tell if it is worth going on." "Oh, that is easily managed," returned the Kyoto frog. "We only have to stand up on our hind legs and hold on to each other. Then we can look at the town he is traveling to." The idea pleased the Osaka frog so much that he jumped up and put his front paws on the shoulder of his friend, who had also risen. They stood stretching themselves as high as they could, holding each other tightly, so that they might not fall down. The Kyoto frog turned his nose towards Osaka, and the Osaka frog turned his nose towards Kyoto. The foolish things forgot that when they stood up, their great eyes lay in the back of their heads, and their nose might point to the place in which they wanted to go. Well, their eyes beheld the place from which they came. "Dear me," cried the Osaka frog, "Kyoto is exactly like Osaka. It's certainly not worth such a long journey. I shall go home." "If I had any idea Osaka was only a copy of Kyoto, I would have never traveled all this way," exclaimed the frog from Kyoto. As he spoke, he took his hands from his friend's shoulder, and they both fell down into the grass. Then they took a polite farewell of each other and set off for home. And to end their lives, they beloved that Kyoto and Osaka, which are as different to look at as two towns can be, were as like as. So part of this to me means when you meet a stranger, it's actually kind of an opportunity to help both them and yourself.